All right, this is part 2 of your final exam review. This is also multiple choice questions, but this time we can use a calculator. So let's start with number 16. The table shows the total number of words that Sarah typed. How many words will she type in 10 minutes? Now, there's a couple different ways to do this. I would find out how many words she types per minute and then multiply by 10. So this one would be 38 words in 2 minutes, finding the unit rate. So 38 divided by 2 is 19. Now, if it's 19 words per minute and we want to know 10 minutes, we're just going to multiply that by 10. And that gives us 190. Now, that's one way to do it. You can do it by proportion too. It doesn't matter to me what method you use. Number 17, Mr. Ross needs to buy laundry detergent, 4 different size containers. Which brand costs the least per ounce? Per tells us we're finding unit rates. So for the first one, it would be $2.99 over 16. How much per ounce? So $2.99 divided by 16 is 0.18687.5. Now I'm going to write the whole thing because sometimes they end up being similar and you have to go to the third or fourth place value. Next one is $3.49 for 20 ounces, which gives us 0.1745. $5.99 for 30 ounces is 0.19966666, repeating. And then $8.99 for 64 ounces is 0.14046875. All right, so which one costs the least? If you're looking, that's 18 cents, 17 cents, 19 cents, and 14 cents, which would be this one right here, Wegmans Club Pack, choice D. Never read. All right, number 18, a Chevy Cruze can travel about 300.5 miles on 10 1/4 gallons of gas. What is the average gas mileage in miles per gallon? So that's miles per gallon. We know that they drove 301.5 divided by 10 1/4. I'm just going to put that in my calculator. 301.5 divided by 10 1/4. You can do decimals too if you want. That would be 29 13 over 41. 29 13 over 41. Choice B. All right, moving on. Number 19. Let me flip the page here. The cost of 6 cans of Coke is $2.25. At this rate, how many would 9 cost? So we're talking about rate again, dollars per can. So I know that it's $2.25 for 6 cans. So I'm going to figure out how much it is per can. So $2.25 divided by 6 means that it's 0.375 cents per can. Now I'm going to take that number and I'm going to multiply it by 9, which gives us $3.375. We're talking about money though, so that would actually be $3.38. Choice B. All right, the table below shows the results of 800 people from New York City. How many people can be expected to speak English? Now, I want to point out one word. This says percent, so this is 30%, 50%, 15%. A lot of people think that that's how many people, but it's actually the percentage. As soon as you see a percentage, you're thinking part equals percent times whole. We know that there were, let's set up our part percent whole. We know there were 800 total people. That's your whole. We're talking about how many speak Spanish. So that's 30%, which is 0.3. And we want to know the part. So X equals 0.3 times 800. So 0.3 times 800 gives us 240 people. Choice D. All right, number 21. Mackenzie wants to buy a backpack that costs $50. Tax rate is 6.5%. How much tax will she pay? So when we start this off, we're going to do part percent whole because it's giving us a percentage. Original cost is $50. Now, here's where I'm going to stop you because they're only asking for the tax. They're not asking for the total. So I'm going to use the tax percentage. If they ask for the total, tax gets added on, so you're going to add that on to 100. or you could add it on at the end. It's up to you. So part equals percent times whole. So 0.065 times 50. So I'm going to take my calculator. 0.065 times 50 gives us $3.25. So we're just asked for tax, which would be choice A. Now, if it asked for the total, you could take that tax and just add it on, which would be $53.25. But just make sure you read what the question is asking for. All right, so number 22, it says, which equation has a solution of 9? So this one, you can do this in several different ways. You can either take each of these questions and solve, or you could take each of these questions and check. So I'm going to do the check method. So here's choice A. I'm going to take n is 9, and I'm going to just make sure that both sides are equal. So parentheses first, 9 plus 6 is 15. 5 times 15 is 75. So that is not equal to 10. So it's not choice A. Let's try 2/3 n plus 6 equals 10. So 2/3 times 9 plus 6. So 2/3 times 15, parentheses first. So let's take that calculator. 2/3 times 15 gives us 10. So 10 is equal to 10, which means that is choice B. Now, everybody always asks, you have to keep going with C and D, and I always tell you my teacher answer is yes, just to make sure it's right. If you don't want to, you would still get this answer right, assuming that choice B is the correct answer. All right, number 23. A cereal company puts colored rings in each cereal box. There are 6 different colored rings. The colors of the rings are shown in the table. Based on the data, what is the probability, capital P, the next cereal box will contain red, green, or purple? So red, green, or purple. So here's red, green, or purple. We're going to add those up. 7 plus 8 is 15, plus 10 is 25. That's 25 out of a total 50, which reduces to 1/2. All right, number 24. Which expression is the product? Product means you're multiplying. So we're doing 2 times 7/5 n plus 1.2. Now, when you're doing product like this, number outside of a parentheses, we're going to distribute. So 2 times 7/5. I'm going to do that right on the calculator. That gives us 2 4/5 n plus 1.2 times 2 is 2.4. So that would be choice. Now, 2 4/5 is 2.8. If you wanted to figure that out, you could just take 4 divided by 5. That gives you 0.8. That's 2.8 plus n plus 2.4, which is choice A. All right, number 25. The original selling price of a camera was $D. The selling price of the camera at a later date was represented by this. What could be happening to this price? Now, if it's over 100, that means it goes up. That would be 25% because it's 1.25. Below 100 means it's dropping. So I'm actually going to put a down arrow. It's dropping 10% because 90% would be 10% off. So which one says that? Now, we can't have decimals in our percents because you actually move it over twice. This would be the price decreased by 10% and increased by 25%. That's what we said. We didn't decrease by 25%. We did the opposite. So that would be choice C. Number 26. All right, Katie bought 4 sweaters that each cost the same amount. One skirt that cost $20. The items that she bought cost a total of $160. What's the cost of each sweater? So this is going to be an equation. I have 4 of the same sweaters plus the skirt, and my total was $160. I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides. So 4x is equal to 140. I'm going to divide both sides by 4, and now I do have a calculator here, so I'm just going to bring it in. I have 140 divided by 4, choice 35, choice B. All right, number 27. Kelsey bought an iPhone for 20% off. Original price was $600, then 4% sales tax. So 2% is 2 problems. Let's start with the first one. Part, percent, and whole. 20% off means she's paying 80% or 0.80. Total cost is $600. So part equals percent times whole. So 0.80 times 600. So I'm going to bring my calculator in. 0.8 times 600 is 480. I'm going to do this again now for the sales tax. 2%, 2 problems. Now my percentage is 4%, so that increases my amount. So I'm going to use my 104%, so 1.04. Now my whole is what I'm being taxed on. I'm now no longer being taxed on 600. I'm being taxed on 480. So X is equal to 1.04 times 480. So I'm going to take my calculator and just multiply it by 1.04. So 499.2, remember it's money. So that would be $499.20. All right, number 28. Let's evaluate this. So we're going to first distribute, number outside of a parentheses. -2 times 3 is -6x. -2 times -4 is +8. Now we're going to combine like terms. So I have two -6x's. So -6 and -6 is -12 plus 8, which would be choice D. So distribute first, then combine like terms. All right, number 29. The graph below shows a relationship between the number of people in a group and the total cost of admission. What point on this graph represents the unit rate? We talked about this. There's 2 points on a proportional relationship, 0, 0, and 1K. 1K, K represents the unit rate. So this would be 1, 15, which would be choice B. Number 30, the population in Whitesville is 3,280 this year. 10 years ago, it was 4,000. So we have two populations. What was the percent increase? So let's start with part equals percent times whole. We don't know the percent. Now I have to remind you that whole stands for original amount. So original amount was the 4,000. The new amount is 3,280. And I did that backwards. And I'll tell you why. And it won't be like this on the final exam, I promise. First of all, I only put 400. But second of all, it says from this year to 10 years ago. So I'm actually going to put the new value as 4,000 and 3,280 as the old. It won't be like that on the test, though. You should be able to figure out the original and the new. All right, so 4,000 is my part. 3,280 is my whole. I'm going to divide both sides by 3,280. So X is equal to, so let's take this 4,000 divided by 3,280. Gives us 1.219. Okay, I'm going to stop there. That's about 122%, which is not my answer. Because remember, it always starts at 100%. So if it's now 122, we're going to subtract 100, which would put this at a 22% increase, not 122% increase. All right, so that is Section 2, Part 2 of your final exam. So go ahead and make sure you know that front and back, and you are prepared for this Part 2 of your final exam. Good luck.